Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Matt, and before we get started today, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to check out my Fanatec affiliate link down in the description below. It's been a rather crazy week at Xbox and Microsoft as a whole. It was on Tuesday that it was reported that many Microsoft units and many Xbox studios were bracing for yet another round of layoffs. And unfortunately, this has been kind of a common occurrence with Xbox, with a round of layoffs in January 24, and then again in September 24, and another round in January 25, and I think in March 25, and definitely in May of 25 as well. And then now, just a couple of months later, we're looking at yet another round of layoffs. And this one, unfortunately, was one of the largest yet. Between Microsoft and all the Xbox studios involved, 9,100 employees have found out today that they will not have a job tomorrow. So let's talk about the impact here, because ZeniMax was hit hard. The developer of Candy Crush King had a 10% layoff. The Xbox user research team got halved. And the big one, the reason why we're really talking about this today, is Turn10 Studios, the developer behind Forza Motorsport, lost half of its workforce today. User reports saying that, well, not user reports, employees that are still working there are saying that upwards of 70 individuals were let off or let go, meaning that there's probably about a 70 plus employees still there. And I wanted to take a moment here to really talk about the impact of that, what that means going forward, what that means in the now, and ultimately what I think is that might have been it for the Forza Motorsport franchise. I think this is maybe it. So let's take a look at this from a very analytical point of view. Although when we do that, when we look at just the numbers, if we're a business and we're trying to make money, we lose a lot of the human impact. So if we take all of that away and we put on our psychopathic businessman, money-making face only, here's the raw numbers. The numbers are Forza Motorsport 1 had sold about 1.5 million units. Number 2 had sold about 3.5. Number 3 had sold about 4 million. 4, which I believe many of you and myself will consider to be the pinnacle of the series. I couldn't get concrete numbers. They're saying 3+ million units sold, which is kind of obvious. I want to say that it probably eclipsed number 3 for sales as well. So I don't know, I'm going to take a gander that it's like 6 million. Forza Motorsport 5, as you all know, coincided with the just horrible release of the Xbox One and had a very lackluster release as itself was known. It sold approximately 1.3 million units, so quite a large drop-off. And then Forza Motorsport 6 was about 1 million, Forza Motorsport 7 was about 1.5 million. So you can kind of tell the trend here. It had a peak, and then it sold really low for a very long time. And we don't actually have any official numbers about what Forza Motorsport 2023 sold. But if you're laying off half your studio after now 8 years of development, I can't imagine the return on your investment was quite high, we'll put it that way. In comparison, we'll look at Playground Games, because they were taking the Forza kind of franchise and taking it in a new direction with that spin-off series of Horizon. Fairly similarly, Forza Horizon 1 sold about the same as Motorsport 1, so about 1.5, and then Horizon 2 sold about 3.5, so about the same as Forza Motorsport 2. Forza Horizon 3 sold about 2.5 million, which doesn't make sense to me because it definitely was an increase on Horizon 2, so I'm not sure about those numbers there. But here's what really caught my eye. Forza Horizon 4 from 2018 has sold approximately 24 million units. That game alone has sold more than the entire Forza Motorsport franchise has ever sold. Keep that in mind. Forza Horizon 5 is nearing on 4 years now. It has sold well above 45 million units. So it's just really obvious now that the studio carrying the Forza franchise is not Turn 10. And to be quite honest, it hasn't been for quite some time. It just seemed like ever since the Horizon series got started, the Motorsport series had a massive fall off and just hasn't recovered. So to be quite frank, I had a feeling just with how everything was going that Motorsport 2023 was going to be Turn 10's kind of last chance, if you will. It's like, okay, if you're able to pull the cat out of the bag on this one and just make us buckets and buckets of money with a well-polished game with just loads of content and really make it that coming into the ninth generation of consoles, I want to say it was, where we have Motorsport release coinciding with the Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X, we're going to beat Gran Turismo to the punch, and we're going to give an amazing Xbox exclusive experience. It turned out that didn't happen. And we got a very unpolished game on launch, a very buggy game on launch, a very monotonous and tedious career on launch, a game that had released after Gran Turismo 7, and that game just blew everything out of the water. The fact that Motorsport was even in the same comparison as Gran Turismo 7, to be quite honest, was kind of cool to see, because honestly, I never thought Turn 10 was the underdog story, but it kind of is when you take a look at the Gran Turismo franchise, selling, I think, more than 150 million units across its series. And we've got Turn 10, just the underdogs, just punching well above their weight class, if you will. And again, with all these comparisons of, is Motorsport better than Gran Turismo 7? I think, unfortunately, anybody who made that kind of comparison was doing a disservice to you, because it's just, it was kind of a clear cut. Gran Turismo is much, 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 much better than Forza Motorsport by a long run, unfortunately. And I think the studio heads at Xbox saw that as well and said, look, we've got Project Motor Racing coming around the corner. We've got iRacing, which is just taking off with the simulation of racing games. We've got Assetto Corsa and the Assetto Corsa Competizione and the Assetto Corsa Evo. So it just seems like the Simcade / simulation market is becoming more and more competitive than ever. There's less arcade games and more of these racing simulation heavy games that obviously all the money is being made in those festival racers, because Forza Horizon is just making buckets and buckets and buckets of cash right now, you know? So from here, what does the future look like? With the fact that Turn 10 has 70 some odd employees remaining, one of the remaining employees said it just looks like that there's enough people hanging around now to just keep Motorsport running. And that is sad, because it just looks like if that's the case, there's definitely not enough manpower to start looking at what's our next project, because I think everybody knows at this point there isn't a next project. I'm not going to say Turn 10 is going to get closed by any means, because it seems that Turn 10 were the main developers of this Forza engine that Playground Games is using for Forza Horizon. So they're still okay, from what I can tell, continuously developing that Forza engine even further. At this point, it just really seems like Turn10 has become a support studio for Playground Games, which is kind of weird because in the olden days when Horizon was coming out, we never thought the Playground Games would become the main Forza studio, if you will, but I guess that's just how it happened. So, in the short term, there's still enough people at Turn10 to still have monthly content updates, is my thought. We're still going to have that. In the medium term, support for Forza Motorsport will slowly be weaned off as Turn10 will refocus to becoming a support studio working on the Forza engine and help Playground Games get Horizon 6 out and into the wild. And then from there, it's kind of hard telling to see what's going to happen from there. So yeah, it's just a really weird time in Xbox, as it seems at this point fairly evident that they're making this transition from a hardware company into a publishing company. And I think it's just an even weirder time to be a Forza Motorsport fan, because we've had such great games in the past, but the better part of this last decade just hasn't been good. And like I said, it's just sad to see, because we're celebrating 20 years of Forza Motorsport this month, well, last month or whatnot. And to have such great highs, to then come to this, it's sad to see that we've reached an end of an era in my mind. To those who are experiencing the layoffs themselves, my sincerest apologies and sincerest condolences. I personally have been laid off before, and it sucks. So good luck out there. I hope the job hunt goes well and is successful. God, this just sucks. So let me know what you all are thinking down in the comment section below. If you guys are thinking that you kind of felt that the buggy launch of Forza Motorsport would maybe end up here, or if you're as similarly surprised as I am that yes, it was a rough launch, but it seems like that there's hope that things would get better. Let me know down in the comment section if you guys think I'm completely wrong about the future about Forza Motorsport. If there is definitely a future, maybe that Playground Games takes up the mantle or has like a motorsport mode in the next Horizon. Like I said, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys are all thinking, because it's just, there's a lot of thoughts, a lot of emotions, a lot of skepticism. It's just a very odd time. So again, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And again, don't forget to hit that affiliate link for Fanatec down in the description below. I've been Matt. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great day today. Take care. Bye.